Tonight on Focal Point.
Men die a lot earlier than women. It's just a matter of fact. And now we're trying to get men to take a look at their health. And usually a lot of men, men don't go to the doctors. So because the men don't do that there, we're bringing these services into the community so they're handy for men.
I think the 21 years of the Beat has reflected the change we have seen in Belfast. I think that it has become a vibrant city in which people want to live and people want to visit, and it is because of organisations like the Beat Initiative.
Teen Fast is a programme called Families and Schools Together, which tries to encourage better interaction between schools and parents.
We have seen such a difference. The parents feel so much more comfortable coming into our school. The one-to-one time they're spending with their children is quality time. The parents have said that they're getting the opportunity to sit down and spend that quality time with their child that they may not necessarily have the time to do at home.
20 years ago, companies didn't have access to much software. The only people that really used software were very, very big companies. And now today, a corner shop will have a point of sale, a kind of POS system, which is built on software. It might be run on an iPad. So it's infecting even the smallest businesses all over the world in every sector.
Neighbourhood Partnership have organised a day here where men will look at their emotional health, their physical health, and also we have the AAA scan coming in. We have the Action Cancer coming in to do men's physical checks.
And I'm here today to actually have a health check done. Well, I'm actually part of a group called the Colin Area Men's Shed, and it was promoted through them. That it's like a health awareness as part of Men's Health Week in the Colin area, and it was basically just to make sure everything's okay, blood, or your cholesterol, blood sugars, your body mass index and things like that.
Men's Health Week is a week long of events celebrating men's health, looking around men's emotional well-being, physical well-being, and around the family too, working with families, dads and kids, doing different events together.
And what are the main issues with men's health today?
Could be emotional health, physical health, and men die a lot earlier than women. It's just a matter of fact. And now we're trying to get men to take a look at their health. And usually a lot of men, men don't go to the doctors. So because the men don't do that there, we're bringing these services into the community.
This is the first time the AAA screening has come to a men's shed. Can you tell me a bit about the work you're doing to get it in the more men's shed, if you plan to do so, and the work you do within the community then?
Yes, all of our appointments are carried out at health and wellbeing centres, smaller hospitals. We stay away from the acute big hospital setting. We have the scans at locations that are convenient for the men. We're at 21 different locations throughout Northern Ireland, but what we would like to do is to link in with the like of men's sheds and other groups so that we can bring the service to the men and we can get men to come for the scan who maybe wouldn't have otherwise. At the minute we've linked in with about 4 or 5 men's sheds, but this is the first time that we have come to one of the men's sheds and run a clinic right here for Men's Health Week.
So can you tell me about the AAA screening programme itself?
The AAA screening programme, AAA stands for Abdominal Aortic Aneurysm, and what the AAA screening programme is, it's a programme that invites men for a scan to check to see if there's an aneurysm there or not on their abdominal aorta. So in the year in which men turn 65, they'll be sent out a letter and asked to come for a quick scan at some location that's convenient for themselves, close at hand, and we would encourage men to come to that scan. Men who are age 65 or over 65 and who haven't received that letter can phone into the office and self-refer for an appointment.
Have you found the information and the support that you've got here today helpful?
It has been very helpful. Some of the stuff I already knew because I am being treated for diabetes and things like that, but then when it comes down to your body mass index, how much weight you actually need to lose to be within the proper range for being healthy. You know, it's things like that that can be sort of quite important too.
And as a man suffering with diabetes, how important is it to you to have services like this come to your community?
It's actually very important because my own GP surgery is the far side of town. So anytime that I need to have anything checked or done, I have a trek the whole way across Belfast. And because this is coming into the community, it means I can come down, have it done, and get the sort of self-reassurance from it that you need.
What else is on as part of Men's Health Week in Colin?
We've done a lot of kids around, the dads. We've done a trip for men at the start. Then we done a dad and kids cook it. So we did. We have this on the day, and then on Friday we have John Mallon coming. And John talks very openly about mental health issues and how he has found able to find through the lens of the camera, he is able to find he's a lot better now, and he encourages men to come open up and talk if there is any problems. Be open up and talk about it. We also have a fathers and kids fishing trip, and the kids love that, and they're going out fishing with their dads and doing things with their dads.
Would you encourage other men to attend more events like this in the future?
Definitely, most definitely, because they'll learn new skills. And say there's a cook-it program that we do. The men will come in. There's some men that may be on their own, don't know how to cook, and are living not very healthy lifestyles. This is where it actually ties in with the health checks and the promotions, and it's the healthy eating ethos. But then also, whilst the food is cooking, it's the community. The community spirit of getting together and talking with someone, because the whole ethos of the men's shed is men will talk better side by side whilst they're doing something, rather than say to their friend, look, I have a problem, there's something wrong with me. They find it less awkward to address that situation.
How can people who are concerned about their health find out information on getting screened?
I would encourage people to call our screening office at 028 906 31828, and we have our own screening office there, and we organise appointments for everybody, and if they want any more information about the screening programme, they can call us on that number.
We're celebrating our 21st anniversary this year. We started off as a full-time programme in 1994 in East Belfast, and we were in East Belfast for the first 15 years. Developing the idea of carnival arts, and the importance about carnival arts in Belfast was we're used to having people out in the streets, we're used to parades in the street. Carnival isn't part of our culture, but the exciting opportunity about that is to have people on the streets doing creative, positive activity. Back in the 90s, when we started this work, it was something that wasn't connected with our local culture and local difficulties.
I think the 21 years of the Beat has reflected the change we have seen in Belfast. I think that it has become a vibrant city in which people want to live and people want to visit, and it is because of organisations like the Beat Initiative over 21 years saying, let's reclaim the streets, let's show Belfast in a different light, let's bring people together. And these festivals are an important part of what makes a city. We fund a number of organisations based in the city, and I think it is and has become a wonderful place to visit and to live in.
Well, we're going to have a bit of a reflection of what has happened in previous years. Our very first parade was in 1995, was called Hay Fever. So there's a float and a section in the parade that reflects that. There's a big giant butterfly and flowers which reflect that very first hay fever themed parade. Every year there have been different themes, and we've got a number of bands who've worked with us over the years coming to Belfast to be part of the parade, particularly from the south of Ireland, but also we've got 30 people coming from London, from Rhythms of the City, which are a top class samba music group, and they'll be playing in the parade. They'll be playing in Custom House Square afterwards, and then we've got a party at night time in Oh Yeah building.
The Beat Initiative is part of the fabric of the city. I think that they have engaged with thousands of people over the years. They have engaged hundreds of artists, and they've supported people in being creative, in being part of something bigger than where they live and being part of the city. So for all of those people who have linked with the Beat over the years, they definitely want to come to be part of this celebration. And of course, the Beat always presents something that is a little bit edgy, wildly artistic, that make sure that the spectators are part of what is happening, whether it be singing along, whether it's jumping around to the drums, whether it's laughing at whatever large puppet that is looming over them. And it's just a wonderful thing to happen over the city at a weekend. It is very much of Belfast. It has maintained a high artistic quality. However, it has always worked very closely with communities across the city in creating wonderful spectacles. Because they are of the place, because they have engaged with communities, there is an ownership with what the Beat create. I remember 21 years ago they had workshops regularly through music workshops, art workshops with the local community. They also worked in cross-community basis at very challenging times and brought people together in the centre of Belfast in a celebratory way.
You know, when we started off, nobody knew what Carnival was, so it started small, of course, and we had 350 the first year, 750 the second year, and then 1,000 after that for quite a few years, which is as much as we can manage in terms of numbers, because we want to keep the arts quality of the event high as well as have a good quality of participation. So we've got about 900 this year, which again reflects the sort of size of parade there would have been over the years. So people can expect to see the city centre filled with music and performance. The other big element that we have this year is the Circus School in Belfast, are celebrating their 30th birthday. So they're joining us in the parade, and they will have children and performers from the circus interspersed throughout the parade. So there's going to be a lot of music and visually a lot of action as well.
Well, the Beat really reflect, I suppose, the Arts Council's one of our very strong themes, which is to promote arts at the heart of communities. It has always been open and accessible through its music programmes, carnival arts programmes, all of the other areas that it fulfills. If you want to contact the Beat, they have a great, very active Twitter, Facebook, website, and please link there, find out what's happening, come along to workshops, and of course they have artists working in communities across the city, so link with those artists and find out what's happening, and of course you can always jump in to find out.
Teen Fast is a programme called Families and Schools Together, which tries to encourage better interaction between schools and parents. So what we're trying to do is have more parents involved in our schools, because we realise when parents are involved in the schools, we will have better performance from our children.
Why did you want St Colm's High School to be involved with the Teen Fast programme?
Well, we had heard about the Teen Fast. It has been running in the local primary schools as Fast, and there are only 2 schools in Northern Ireland who are piloting the Teen Fast, and we thought it was a very innovative programme. It encourages parental engagement in schools, which is something that we really wanted to focus on this year, so that was the main reason why we decided to get involved with the programme.
Teen Fast was a 9-week programme in St Colm's, so it was very structured. It has an absolute timetable that we stick to every week. So we began every week with our special hello, and what that does is reinforce that you belong to a family, so you're titled as that family, and every week we greet you as a family, and that's very important, because what we want to do is build up the bonds between that family. And then we went off, and every single week one of the families took turns to cook a meal for all of the rest of the group. So basically you were cooking for 40 people every week, but we stayed in our families, so we all ate as a family, which is so important these days, because so many children, especially teenagers, eat in the bedrooms, mummy and daddy both work, no one eats together, so it was so important for us to keep that together, that families ate together. Then everyone spread up into their different groups. Parents had a separate time of their own. The young people went with our 2 peer mentors, Megan and Curtis, and they had special youth time together. And then the other children in the family went off and had kids time together. And then the key part of the FAST programme was when our Year 8 child came back and had exclusively 15 minutes special time with the parent, and they talked about an agreed subject. There was no arguing, no fighting. Some of the topics were a bit controversial. We talked about internet safety, we talked things about bullying, peer pressure, things that are really important to our young people today. So it was very, very structured, but proven. There's absolute proven outcomes for this, that if you repeat the things, it will encourage people that when FAST is over, they will continue to do these things in their family life, and that's what we're all about, improving our families' outcomes in St Colum's and Twinbrook.
Can you tell us what your first impressions were? Like, what were you expecting?
I don't know what I was expecting, but I really enjoyed it.
Have you noticed a difference in your relationship?
Big difference. A lot more confident, very forthcoming and wanting to talk to me now. She's coming on really well.
Can you tell us what your first impressions were? Like, what were you expecting?
We were sceptic because we had to come out and go down to school for a couple of hours a week. But once you come here and get involved and see what it's all about, then you understand and you want to come every week just to get new things, meet new families. It's an all-round great experience.
Can you tell us about your experience of being in the programme?
Fun. It was lots of fun. It was good to meet all our families. The kids enjoyed it, we enjoyed it. You work hard, so you do, and you don't see other families, you don't see what's happening outside, so you got to come here and spend time and see what other families are like.
What difference have you seen in your relationship with your child?
The kids are more open and honest. They can come to us. They can see that we're there for them. I think with our busy lifestyles that we just overlook our kids growing up. Now they're more confident to come to us with whatever issues they have.
What type of activities did you do?
We talked about topics, and then after we'd done our topic we went and we talked to our parents about it, like one of our parents, and then we did all different kinds of topics.
What did you like about the FAST programme?
I got to play games with my family and interact with them more, and I got to get to know more people that were in my class, so got to learn a lot of things with it.
And did you become closer with your parents?
Yes, I really did.
By the time they get to teenage, quite often you're not involved with the school at all. It's different when your child's at primary school. Lots of different activities, nativity plays, Santa comes, all the different activities. In secondary school, it's completely different. So we're very keen here in St Colum's that the parents feel that school is part of their lives as well. We want them to be included. We realise that in St Colum's we will get the best outcomes and best results for our young people when our families are engaged in the school.
We have seen such a difference. The parents feel so much more comfortable coming into our school. The one-to-one time they're spending with their children is quality time. The parents have said that they're getting the opportunity to sit down and spend that quality time with their child that they may not necessarily have the time to do at home with all the other things that are going on. The fact that they feel comfortable coming up here into the school, they get to know the teachers, they get to know the actual layout of the school, so they're more comfortable coming into the school and getting involved, which is ultimately what we want.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to put your hands together for the Team Fast family.
Today's EnterConf. EnterConf is a technology conference for the enterprise sector. It's our first event. Way back 4.5 years ago we started the first Web Summit and we had about 400 people along. It was a very broad conference. They're all from Ireland. Everybody came from Ireland. Today we've got attendees from literally all over the world, from Denmark to the United States to China, and it's pretty exciting. Consumer software is something we all know, so Twitter and Facebook is what you call consumer software, and that's for consumers to use. Enterprise software is software for businesses, helping businesses sell more effectively, manage more effectively, communicate more effectively, and those types of companies are here today and covering an even broader breadth of the types of software that companies use. 20 years ago, companies didn't have access to much software. The only people that really use software were very, very big companies, and now today a corner shop will have a point of sale, a kind of POS system, which is built on software. It might be run on an iPad, so it's infecting even the smallest businesses all over the world in every sector.
So Algolia is a search engine as a service
So basically we enable websites and mobile applications to integrate Google-like search experience within their websites. First thing, compared to Google, Google enables you to search on the internet, whereas Algolia, we are providing the search within the website. So we enable people to search in a website or in a mobile application. Our focus is really on the user experience, so making something, a search engine that is extremely fast, extremely relevant, that enables the website or the mobile application to really focus on building the right search experience.
Duo Security are a dual-factor authentication company, so we've really taken security and made it easy for the user and for an enterprise to implement. So we add a second factor of authentication in the cloud and make it really easy for your users and your organization to protect themselves. So Duo have 6,000 customers, so from big enterprises to smaller companies. So, you know, Facebook, all their employees use our product to protect, you know, the billions of users' data. Right down to, you know, medium-sized companies who just want to protect themselves and they've not been able to do it before. Even the individual user. So, you know, if you've got a network at home and you want to protect your own home network, you can download our software for free and protect your network.
I'm from a company called Alien. Alien is an artificial intelligence company. We use machine learning and natural language processing techniques to understand what's being said in a piece of text. So let's say you have an article, a web page, a tweet. You want to find out what the sentiment of the author is, what high-level category this text belongs to. Is it about technology? Is it about sports? If it's about sports, what type of sport is it about? And again, is the author positive, neutral, negative towards certain topics, entities, and so on. We extract mentions of entities as well, companies, people, places. So overall, we try to find some sort of structure from unstructured content like text. That's obviously very valuable because otherwise that information will be trapped in a piece of text. So we try to extract that for you. The main attraction for us coming to EnterConf is getting exposure, meeting investors, meeting potential customers, partners, and so on. And the whole enterprise software market is now undergoing sort of a second revolution, and we're happy to be a part of that as a small company.
So what we do is just focus on the attendees, and if attendees are meeting people that can help their businesses, then that's an outcome that pleases us, and lots of that's happening today, and that's a great thing.
It's a great opportunity for us to meet other companies who, you know, we could partner with. It's a great opportunity for us to meet potential customers and prospects, and, you know, to listen to what's happening in Northern Ireland in the tech space.
And how difficult was it to organise the conference in Belfast?
I'll be honest, initially it was quite hard. It was the same with Dublin when we rang people. When I started speaking to people 4.5 years ago and said, hey, the event's in Dublin, they said, oh, that's a bad idea. I've never heard of a conference in Dublin. And I heard the exact same reactions this time, and that hasn't stopped us. Yes, it's been hard, but, you know, I think that's part of the challenge, and we've overcome it so far, and hopefully we can continue to overcome it. And then in future, people think of Belfast as a great destination for conferences. So you look at Dublin, it's now teeming with conferences every other week, many of them coming to Dublin because they've seen what's possible with the Web Summit. And hopefully it's not just us coming back to Belfast, it's lots of other people considering Belfast as a location. We absolutely want to come back here, and provided we can find partners in Belfast that are prepared to work with us in the way that other cities are prepared to work with us, like in New Orleans or in Las Vegas or in Hong Kong or in Dublin, then there's absolutely no reason why we would not be back here.
Now, tomorrow's weather.